Yeah, you'll see. This is good. This will be fun. Um, Keep it basic enough so we won't lose you. But I think it's good for you to learn how to draw a position of the body in that way. That would be really cool. Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to add to the view the idea that this part is the sky, this part is the ground. All right. So what I'm going to do is way at the top of the paper, I'm going to add a couple of clouds. All right. Add a couple of clouds. Now my clouds don't look fancy. Everybody has a way of doing their own clouds. Yeah. It all depends on how you feel like you want to do them. All right. So that's the way I do my cloud. I do a puffy cloud. Looks like the letter U all twisted. See? All twisted. And I try to make them look interesting. I don't want to keep them separate distance apart evenly because that's boring. So what I try to do is I try to add a little one right overlapping another one. Yeah. And then maybe it gets down to the horizon, tinier one, tinier even at the bottom, and a really big one over here. So when you see these, you go, wow, look at the differences. Look at the differences. Check this out, guys. I got, look at this. Here's one overlapping. Here's a separate intermediate size, medium size one. There's a little one towards the horizon, and then a gigantic one at the top here, and then a little one overlapping on in there. Because everything looks, when things have a variety to them, they look different. They look more interesting. Okay. I could have just put three clouds, blue, 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 but that's kind of boring. So I try to add differences to them. Okay. All right. Super. Okay. Excellent. So far, so good. Okay. All right. Now let's do our first idea here, and that is we have to decide where our land is going to disappear back here. And we have to what's called put a what's called a vanishing point. That's where your eyesight would go no further because the earth turns, it bends, right? It bends. So right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line coming down this way in an upside down V shape. See? Can you see that? An upside down V shape. So the part that's at the bottom is closest to us, and the part that's in the middle is farthest away from us. Can you see that? This is something you're going to want to put in your drawings a lot. So pay attention to this. It's really important. All right. Okay. Here we are. This is going to actually be a street that goes into the distance, way into the distance, right? Okay. Don't you worry. Okay. Thumbs up if everybody's okay. Thumbs up. Okay. Everybody good? All right. Yeah. If you let me know if you have a difficulty. All right. Let me know. Okay. So you have the V, the upside down V, and we have this back here. Now let's decide how big our superhero boy and girl will be. Okay. I'm going to go up into this clear area up here, although we can actually overlap the lines behind there too. We can do that too. I'm going to go first with the boy, and I'm going to make a circle bigger than a quarter, bigger than a quarter. Okay, so it's bigger than a quarter. That's going to be the size of the head of the child, one child. Okay. Remember our basic idea when we do drawing is we follow an idea of circle, square, triangle, cylinder, right? So that almost everything that you see is made up of those shapes in some way, in some way. All right. So if you study those shapes, you'll become a better artist really, really quickly. Okay. Okay. Now, right next to the boy's head is a very, and I'm going to do this very lightly, is a circle because I'm going to erase that. This will be the boy's shoulder. On the other side, I'm going to create only a half a circle. Only a half a circle, see? Just a half a circle. Now, I only do half the circle because the shoulder, you only can see half the shoulder. See? And once we do these, you'll want to practice these and put them in your drawings. You'll start creating all kinds of superheroes flying. It looks really cool. Okay. Now, starting with our shoulder, the next joint is our elbow, right? Our elbow. And I'm going to have him, so he's got his arms out in front of him like this, right? So I'm going to actually put a smaller circle right there. See the smaller circle? Now, these circles represent the joints of our body, all right? So you know this from school, the shoulder, elbow, wrist, knee, hip, ankle, right? So let's get all these on here that we need. I'm going to cut across to the other side, and I'm going to put one right there. Now, anybody who looks at this now would say, Mr. Mike, what are you doing? Planets? You know, what is this? I don't understand what you're doing. When we start actually lining up the circles and actually lining up the lines for them, you'll see. It'll start looking like a human being. All right, so remember we have shoulders, elbows. Now back down here, I'm going to put the wrists really close to those little circles there. Now watch, here we go. Once we get these circles on, now I'll show you what they'll look like. Circle here and circle here. Ta-da. So now look how many circles we already have, boys and girls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 circles we've already started. 7 circles. Or maybe 6.5 circles, we should say. Right? 6.5. Now, because their hand is in a fist, I'm going to make it in a fist like this. I'm going to make a square right on the end of it that touches the last circle. A little fist. Mhm. Okay. Very good. All right, now we make the muscles. We're going to make the muscles, right? Here we go. And you'll see. See the muscle curves? See the muscle curves? See how it all joins together? Makes it look like one big cylinder with circles inside of it. But the curves look more like muscles. See? They look more like muscles. And of course, there's some cleanup to do. You know, we have some lines overlapping each other. We're not going to want to have the circles in there when we finish. But when you're in the beginning learning something, you might want to keep the circles and the underlying parts on there for a while, just so that you can memorize them. You know. All right. Now this superhero, like all the superheroes in my mind, although they don't have a lot of them with these anymore, they always had capes. So we're gonna put his cape on here, right? And it's gonna trail off to the back. See how it trails off? Looks like a big triangular shape, right? But not quite a triangle. Close. A little bit. It's more like a rectangle, but it's knotted up at the top by the neck, right? Here we are. Good job. Now remember, that's the cape. That's the cape. Now we want to see a little bit of the chest underneath. We're not going to see the whole body. The legs are going to be covered by the cape a little bit because he doesn't have really. This is not an adult, so we're going to have a child. So let's put the chest in. Let's put the chest in, and in the back, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in some simple shoes, side by side, like that. And simple shoes. Right? So you can see from the picture, it looks like this superhero is diving down into the road where the road is going to be. It's going to save somebody from something. Right? Try to draw the human body as much as you can because it's very difficult and it's good to know early on in your art career. So when you get to high school, you'll be a breeze at it. It'll be great. You know, get the proportions right. Usually adults are like 6 heads high, 6 or 6.5 heads high. Children can be like 3 or 4 heads high. And we always use the head to measure the whole length of the body, right? So if you want to know what a proper size for an adult would be, think about 6.5 heads high if they're standard. Okay, here we are. So far, so good. We got them all back. Now, let me just take my eraser, my handy dandy eraser here. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase some of the unnecessary lines that I've got already in here. I want to just get rid of them so it doesn't confuse you. Okay, here we are. There we are. See how it looks far away? Looks like he's coming down. Oh, flying down there. All right. And of course, you can make up your own superhero, who's whatever powers they've got, or if they go by an initial. The funny thing is, a young boy, I grew up with Superman comics all the time, and I always thought that the S that was on his chest represented S for Superman. But I found out through one of the movies that it wasn't for Superman. It had to do with Superman's home planet Krypton. Their alphabet, their alphabet, the letter that's on his chest is not an S, but it's a representation of what's called hope. So what he was doing is that they were representing Superman as the hope of the world, of to help to fight evil. And that's what I thought was so cool. I said, "Oh my gosh, it's so great." It wasn't an S. It represented hope. Yeah. Now, don't you worry about a thing with these. You're going to get these to practice. You never have to worry. Never have to worry. Remember when you first learn to draw, okay? You want to take time to practice. I had to practice a lot when I was a little boy. It didn't come easy to me. I had to practice a lot. So I got disappointed sometimes. But my dad and my mom were always there and they told me, never worry, never worry. Everything's going to work out. You know, you just keep practicing and you'll see it got better. And I did. I started to get better. I started to get better. All right. Now, what I want you to do is this. To practice this, let's give our superhero boy another friend over here. Exactly the same thing. Let's try to draw this again right here. All right. This will give us a chance to practice things twice. Okay. Let's practice things twice. So first, I'm going to leave a little space and I'm going to put another circle here right there. See, there's another circle. And this is so nice. Now, if you had a hard time with the first one, try the second one. Try the second one. It'll be even better for you. Believe me, you'll try it. You know, I know sometimes it's discouraging if you don't get it right, but believe me, you'll get it right. You will get it right. You will get it right. You never have to worry. So now we determined how big the person will be, right? Now, what did we do next? Remember, we did the shoulders, right? The shoulders. So let's do the shoulders. So I'm gonna put a shoulder here and a shoulder over here. They look like ears. Super ears. They can listen from far away. Yeah. Okay. Now remember, what's our next joint? Is our elbow, right? Our elbow. So we'll go down with the elbow here. There's our elbow. You know what? Let's put in the wrist. Okay. There they are. You see how they're angled? See how they're angled? See there? They follow along the road line, right? The road line, right? We're gonna do just great, guys. Just great. Okay. Okay. And I'm gonna put a little tiny box on the end of where the wrist is. Little tiny box, little square. That'll be the fist. Right there. You know, when you really think about it, all we're doing is circles. You know, up to the point where we start doing the cape, they're just circles. But they're fighting crime. Yes, they are. Okay. Maybe we'll have this one talking to this one. Do you see any evildoers down there? No, I don't, but I see a gigantic elephant. I don't want an elephant. Okay, let's do the muscles. Here come the muscles. Ready? We'll do the muscles. Remember, from elbow to shoulder, up and down, up and down. There they are. Ta-da! See, you can compare the two. Look at this. You can even compare the two. Check this out. Let me see if I get it the right distance here. There we go. Yeah, compare the two. See? There you go. Now that's the most difficult part of the whole thing. Once you get that part done, pretty much everything else is pretty easy. Okay. Now after the arms, remember, we put the cape on. So let's put the cape back here behind. Ooh, look at this. And I'll put the feet on. Yeah. Wow, look at that. Now that's cool. I love the two of them flying in the air like that. Isn't that wonderful? Look how wonderful that is. Flying in the air. That's the great part about art. Everybody can do it. Just takes a little patience and a little time and practice, practice. So far, so good. I love it. Got our superhero. Maybe you can come up with an idea from some kind of evil creature over here, a big blobby guy with tentacles. Maybe they're going to defeat him, came from another planet or something, something cool. But what I'm going to show you is how to make this into look like the top of buildings here. We'll show you how to make them into the top of buildings, right? Like they're flying way up high, and they're going to go down. Mhm. Once I get the shoes in, what I want to do is I want to just get rid of any of the extra stuff that's on here that I don't need. There we are. Very good. Very good. See, I took a eraser and I erased some of the stuff that I don't want on there. See? Now, does everybody have a does everybody have a red pencil? A red pencil? If you have a red pencil, what I'm going to do is to make the cape stand out, I'm just going to color the red on the cape. All right, a little bit on the red on the cape. You can make one red and one blue if you want, but just the cape, just so that you can see the difference between that and the body there, okay? Maybe I'll use one blue one. I'll use a blue one too. Here we go. Let me take a blue. And this sounds good. And a blue one. Here we are. See, now I have a blue and I have a red cape, and you can see the difference in them. See, sometimes the blue doesn't show up as well with the certain cameras, but this is blue. This is a blue. See, okay. So far, so good. All right. The next part is really easy. Let me show you what we'll do in the next part, okay? Next part is we're going to make the little buildings down below, and they're far below the two superheroes. All right, so what we're going to do is let's take pencil, and then down at the very bottom here, all the way at the bottom, I'm going to make my longest one here, and then my next shortest, going up, down, all the way to the back until it gets really small. You see how it looks like a fence with the ones in the front, the bottom, the tallest, and then the next tall, and then medium, and then small, small, all the way in the back. This is a real quick, easy way to learn how to do these little square buildings together, like in the city. Okay. 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 Not too hard, right? Okay. Now look at the tops of each one of those little posts, the top, all the way at the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I got 5 way in the back. I'm going to make a line and only have them touch the tops. There's touch the top, see? I can do the same thing with the other one on the other side of the street. There it is. There's the one on the other side of the street. Now the fence posts have tops on them, see? They look like they are fence, they're not fence posts though. I'm gonna make them into buildings, little square buildings, you see. Boop, boop, boop. Everybody good? Thumbs up if you have a good, if you're doing okay. Okay, thumbs up. Good. Not too hard, right? Okay, now watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add these lines to come out this way at a different angle. See how they come out flat? Okay. Next one. On the other side. Here we are. Straight across, straight across, straight across. No angles, just straight across. Lower this down. There it is. So it makes a top, right? Makes a top and a side. Top and a side. They look like little cubes, right? 3D cubes. All right. Now let's go up to the head. We're going to go to the face. You decide what gender. If you want 2 girls, 2 boys, up to you. Okay. Whatever you like. We can actually make the hair. And here we are. And it's a cartoon, so make a cartoon face. And maybe her hair. She have long hair. It's all over the place, right? Scatters all over. Whee! There we go. There's a couple of faces there. See, a couple of faces. Yee. I gotta make her smile a bit. She looks a little scared. That's better. There you go. They're happy. Fighting superheroes is during the night. Students during the day. I think everybody's thought about that. Well, well, well. Yeah. This is what I'm doing is I'm just tidying up the lines here and there. Not really adding anything. Darkening parts that I think should be darkened. Yay. So this is what it looks like from a distance, okay? This is what, and this is so cool because you can do this as part of a story of two kids who dream about being superheroes. I did a program a couple of years ago at the Larchmont Library where we actually did a comic strip, a full comic strip, multiple pages, and the kids could come up with their own ideas. But one of the ones I used for an example was the one I had done a couple of years before, which was two kids learning, two kids after going to sleep after reading books about superheroes, and they became superheroes, and they traveled around their neighborhood and fought crime and had a whole bunch of fun stuff, you know. Yeah. All right. Now on these little cubes, you may want to put a little door here and there, like that. Put a little door. See the door? Just so that people live there, and a couple of windows. The key here to remember is to follow the lines on your square. See your square? See how it tilts up on the top, tilts low on the bottom? You got to make sure that the bottom of the window tilts down and the top of the window tilts up. It makes it look more natural. See? Oh, yeah. But again, all these things will come to you when you get to high school. You'll be doing a lot of art in school. Um, and I'll be teaching a lot of these things that you already might have remembered that you knew from me when we had our time together. Right. And look at that. And you can have different types of doors on here, that kind of stuff. Now, a skyscraper that you see in the city that's really super tall are they're just a bunch of boxes, one on top of the other. That's all they are. They're huge, but that's all they are. One box on top of another, top of another, top of another. Goes all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. And to show you how high up they are, I'm going to have a friend that sees them and says hello. That's the size of the friend compared to them. See how far down he is? Look how far down he is. Look how far down he is. I'll show you how he looks. Very simple design. You don't have to do a whole bunch of details on them. And you're gonna have them something saying hello to them. So it's two cylinders, a circle, a rectangle, and a couple of cylinders. You got a little person. I zoom out. There they are, way up there in the sky. You can use a word balloon. I did this before I should, but basically, if you want to properly do dialogue or word balloons, probably better to print the words in the space first, and then cover it with the circular shape. Because most of the time when we do it the other way, we go out of the circular shape. We have to erase it and do it again. Right. So try to try to do it before you do the circle. Oh, super friends. That's what I got him saying. Hello, super friends. Hello, super friends. Just pretty much. I'll put a light source in here too, maybe above here. Little sun up there. Little yellow sun up there. Always looks nice. Mhm. I put a little shadow under my friend there. Smudge it a little bit with my finger. And there you have it. What's that? You like the drawing? Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm so good. I'm so good. And you can draw too. That's the whole thing. That's what I get enjoyment out of teaching you how to draw. Because it's given me so much fun and enjoyment in my life. It's a great way to forget about things, you know, bad stuff that are going on or anything like that. Put you in your own world and have a little fun with it. You know? Then you can make up stories. You can make up a story and illustrate it. That's always very exciting.